All right, hey everybody, welcome. Welcome to the day after BYU wins at UConn. First off, huge win. I'm glad we didn't biff it like we did in Virginia last year. Highlights for this year is for at least this game was BYU. 3 out of the 4 quarters played well. Um, I'll give you a play-by-play breakdown if I can talk. We'll talk about what went well. We'll talk about what the areas of concerns were, and then of course we'll talk about our impact players and our prediction for Texas as they go down and visit Texas and Austin. So, without further ado, the first quarter at 9:56 left in the quarter, Taysom runs it in for 7 yards. Fantastic. Looked like he was mobile. That was really well. 9:35 left in the quarter. Mitch Matthews, 26-yard pass. They go 14-0. Second quarter sees BYU score twice as well as UConn. Adam Henne, 7-yard run. UConn's Joshua Mariner, he had a 1-yard run. They went 21-7 at that point. BYU favor. And, of course, Taron Hauk, if I'm saying that right, 35-yard pass, took BYU to 28-7. Great. Went into halftime, and then all of a sudden, in the third quarter, they both come in and lay an egg. Great. I really get nervous about half times and the adjustments that the coaches make and the headspace that goes on for the BYU players. I think they become a little invincible. I think they think they're a little bit, they don't have to work so hard, and I think the third quarter showed that. They get a little overconfident. So UConn comes in, 11:48 left in the quarter, and Bobby Puyoi, P-U-Y-O-I, 35-yard field goal. That's the end of the scoring for UConn. BYU, 4 minutes and 6 seconds left in the game. Taysom Hill runs it in for 26 yards, caps it off, really puts this game out of reach, puts the score at 35-10, which it never changes. So what went well? BYU was up 28-7 in the first half. Strong, aggressive play calling. This is really good. I like it. Robert and I, good job first half. We'll talk about the second half. Offense. Taysom Hill increased his completion percentage up to 78% for this game. Last year he was at 53.9, so this is huge. 25 basis point increase. 27 first downs, 38% third down conversions. It's better than last year, but this has got to get better. You're not going to win against Texas. You're not going to win against any top-tier team if you're only converting on 38%. Now, if you don't get into third down, that's great. If you're getting first downs on first and second down, but that's not what BYU's offense is about. 100% on fourth down conversions, 1 for 1. Woohoo! Christmas time. It's 1 for 1. Basis point of 1 game. It's against UConn. Let's keep our pants on. Area of concerns. Robert and I going conservative in the third quarter. I don't get it. I don't get what they're doing. This was a signature win. This gives them an opportunity to really put this away. They didn't do it. Locker room, again, I talked to you about this earlier. Concerned about the locker rooms at halftime. This is classic BYU. They lack the killer instinct, and maybe it's our nature, maybe it's the fact that these guys have now gone on LDS missions and they're less fire first game. Let's see if this improves over the next little while. UConn made adjustments. We did not continue our aggressiveness in the play calling. And UConn, they played strong. To be able to hold BYU off of any type of scoring in the third quarter, kudos to UConn. We talk about exposure. We talk about national TV. We talk about ESPN, Tom Holmoe. And we had a chance to put this team away. We didn't do it. So, BYU defense. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. Again, they allowed UConn to have 47% conversions on third downs. 47%. Where did that come from? Let's talk about that. This came in the air. UConn had 355 yards total offense. 284 of those yards came in the air. Cornerbacks were an issue. The suspensions from BYU for Jordan Johnson and Rob Daniel were huge in this game. This exposed BYU's depth at corner. These two are supposed to be the standout corners for BYU. Much improved. Allowed Michael Davis to come over from the offense and play corner again. However, with Rob Daniel and Jordan Johnson being out, it put Michael Davis in a starting role. Michael Davis is good. He's serviceable against UConn, but he had weaknesses. And this means that BYU is susceptible to the passing game. Passes that are greater than 10 to 15 yards. We're just weak. We're not strong. We're not smash mouth football. The other cornerback that was in due to the suspensions was Jordan Prater. Guys, Jordan Prater's never played it down in FBS. Never. We're starting him. We're thin. Penalties. Undisciplined crap. 15 for 150 yards. We can't give that to these guys. I don't mind aggressiveness penalties. Those can be improved. However, this can be fixed. It's not a dead, but this was sloppy. This is preseason, punching yourself in the face through fall camp, and then now you've got somebody actually to hit. And this is a different place. UConn's not Idaho, but UConn's not Texas, so keep it in perspective. Turnovers. We had 2 fumbles lost. Thank heavens Jamal Williams is only suspended for 1 game. They need to remember, this is what they talk about in my son's Little League, is 3 points of contact at all time on the ball. Mitch Matthews, Algernon Brown. Get it through your head. You're not going to be playing much if you keep fumbling the ball. 2 against UConn. Come on. Passing game. Ross Oppo. Where the hell are you? You only had 14 receptions in 2013. Jay Keeps is gone, and so did you. Pretty pathetic if you can't keep your starting spot or your #1 receiver spot when your boy leaves. If you're any good, step it up. I don't see him moving on. He had nothing in this game. Kicking game. Guys, I'm really concerned if Trevor Sampson can't hit a pretty easy field goal. This wasn't hard. If we get into a pressure situation against Texas or anything, and there's a field goal necessary, Utah. We lost it 3 times, and heaven forbid that the game was on the line with pressure situations. Just frustrated with the kicking game. Why can't BYU get a good kicker? There's enough soccer players that we could have. They could come in and soccer style kick this. Impact players, offensive side of the ball. Taysom Hill. Taysom was a monster. 28 for 36 attempts for 308 yards. That's average of 8.6 yards per completion. This is really, really good in my book. 3 TDs with 0 interceptions. He had time to pass the ball. He wasn't hurried. He wasn't on his butt. Really nice. He had 12 rushes for 97 yards. That's 12.4 yards per carry. That's really good. That means he's keeping his vision. He's keeping happy feet down. He's not going crazy, but that he's making good, effective runs that's taking the pressure off of the other parts of the offensive scheme. UConn was dropping 8 in coverage in the first and second quarters. Taysom had good footwork. He remained patient. You didn't see him taking off. He was making passes. The scoring was balanced. Taysom used to run a lot. He's not running so much, so this was a good thing. Offensive line, again, kudos. You gave him time. You gave them time to run. You gave them time to pass. You gave them time to think. It's a 4-quarter game. However, you know, it's better than losing it like we did in Virginia. The offensive line, this is night and day. Defense, Zach Stout, 10 tackles, 6 solo, 1 sack. Craig Bills, an INT. That was strong. It was really nice to see. Bronson Kafusi, 4 tackles, 3 solo, and 2 of those tackles were sacks. And this puts him second in the nation behind Nate Orchard at Team Unknown. Ultimately, BYU's defense held UConn to 71 rushing yards. So the first and second, meaning your linemen and your second-tier linebackers, are making tackles, and they're not getting past anywhere, and UConn stopped. They started to pass because that's what was working. Next up's Texas. Prediction? I think this is a loss for BYU. Texas will see the issues at cornerback and Tess Johnson and Daniel early and often. This is a revenge game for Texas. I don't think Bronco et al., all the other coaches, can prepare the team against overconfidence going into Austin. Can they win? Sure. Will they win? I don't think so. So, good week. Week 1's in our belt. BYU fans, breathe. We're not like we did last year. But Bronco's got his work cut out for him in the post-game comments. It was nice to be able to see him own up to that. Seems a little aloof sometimes, but hey, that's Bronco. It's 10 years now. He's not going to change. He's a pretty good coach. So this year's a fairly easy schedule. You can read my blog post at taxisquad.com and find out what my predictions are there and follow that game by game, and let's see together how it turns out. My prediction's 9-3. This week being one of the 3. So, all right, signing off. Have a good one, and go BYU.